Does he fall? Is it a make? How did he film that? The answer to that question and many more in today's video, where I am going to show you how to use the Insta360 ONE R for skateboarding and action sports. Thanks for tuning in. Today's video is really around my use of the Insta360 ONE R, which is hands down my favorite action/360 camera. I've been skateboarding for like 20 or so years, and for a large part of that, I have been skating by myself. This year is no different, or this past year is no different, considering we are in the midst of a pandemic, and while wearing a mask and washing my hands, I am also strictly adhering to social distancing guidelines. For this video, I really just want to walk you through how I used this camera in particular to set up this specific shot. What we're going to do now is switch to the secondary angle to show you where I set it up, why I set it up in that particular fashion, and some of the settings that I have rolling. Let's do a cut. Audio sync, audio sync. And that's how you work the magic of a proper audio sync. Right now, I am at the Broadway Bricks, which is a funky little spot down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, kind of in the downtown area, but just on the outskirts. It is a 2-flat-2 with a kink rail just off to the left of where we're looking at. If you want to get weird, you could skate the 2-flat-2. However, the bricks are kind of uneven and make it really challenging to pop off. It also has a relatively short runway. My friend Jake recently went there, and he's been working his magic with Bondo. If you're familiar with Bondo in the skateboard world, it is traditionally used as a crack filler to make a smooth surface. That way, whenever you're riding, your wheel doesn't get jammed up on a crack, either slow you down or kind of like hitting a rock, make you fall over and take a spill. In addition to using Bondo as a crack filler, my friend Jake has been using it to make old spots new. He took this ledge, which is usually rendered unskateable, and by putting Bondo and wax on it has turned it into a proper skateboard ledge, as you can see here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and walk myself up. There I am. And I'm gonna set the camera right there. So let me tell you about why I have the camera in that specific spot. Once I move, adjust the shirt, gotta do a steez check. Okay, looks like I'm gonna do a little bit more adjusting. Okay, let me tell you about why the camera is in that specific spot. First off, it's a 2-flat-2, relatively small. You're really only jumping down 4 stairs with a little bit of a gap. Whenever I get to a spot and start filming, I want the camera to be able to see 3 different things. I want to be able to see the takeoff, I want to get the apex of the trick the best I can, and I also want to see the landing. This camera is great because it allows you to get these impossible angles in really tight spaces. You would never be able to get a filmer down here crouched in this little spot filming this trick this way. This camera is the only way you're going to be able to get this angle. So I butt it up against the bricks. That way I get the maximum view going outward, and it also steers the audience's attention to everything but the bricks. Audience retention, that's pretty important in this world. For real. In addition to that, I have it set up so that it's just high enough to be able to see the roll-up. If I were to move it down to the bottom, the very bottom of the stairs, I most likely wouldn't be able to get a good view of the roll-up. In addition to that, I put it in the flat and almost towards the edge of the flat to enlarge the size of the flat. I want to make it look like I'm sliding longer than I actually am. And also, where it's positioned, I can see the landing. All of those 3 boxes are really checked based on where the camera is. If I was skating something taller, I would consider using the monopod extendo selfie stick so that I can get the camera up a little bit higher. However, you know, since I'm old, I'm going to be skating smaller spots, therefore I don't need that specific tool on this shot. Let me run you through the settings real quick. I'll move the camera out of the way and we can drop those in here. It has a 5.7K 24 or 25 frames per second mode. I don't really use that one, so let's go ahead and check that one off. The second one is a 4K at 60 frames per second. That one I may use, so let's do a little check mark on that. My favorite mode though, which I have the lowest resolution but I have the highest frame rate, is 3K at 100 frames per second. I typically export my videos at 24 or 25 frames per second. So whenever I'm using the 100 frame per second mode, it allows me to slow things down up to 4 times. This just opens up a lot of possibilities for me, but the main thing is I can make a really short moment last a lot longer and really get into the fine detail of a trick I might be doing. Those are the settings that I use for this specific clip. Let's go ahead and watch it from the Canon angle. Then we will switch to the Insta360 and I will show you how I keyframe and export. What? It is cold in the garage. Did I mention that I'm in my garage? This is Budget Productions, and I really apologize. I'm doing my best here, people. Making long-form videos is not my forte. Audio is synced. First thing you're going to want to do after you've filmed your clip using this camera is fire it on. I have so many great things that I want to say about this camera, but I'm going to try to keep this concise. One thing that I really appreciate about it though is the second that you turn it on, it automatically initiates the Wi-Fi mode. So whenever I hop on my phone, I'm going to go to the Insta360 app and it's going to ask me to join the network. And it's really straightforward from there. It's programmed so that it will connect to that network automatically. You don't have to go fishing in the settings to find which network it is. It's already pre-programmed there. Here we're getting a live view of what we're seeing here. We don't need that. We're going to go to the album. And that's cheating. I was already in here editing. So here we are. This is the view of me getting the camera set up. Whenever I film with this thing, rather than starting and stopping every time I try a trick, I press record, and from there I skate for about 3 to 5 minutes. And if I haven't landed my trick by that point, I will stop record, give it a couple seconds, and start a new recording, go for another 3 to 5 minutes, and rinse and repeat until I land the trick. After I land the trick though, I will go back, press the stop record button, and then we'll start the editing process, which is where we are now. Because it's 360, it's recording everything and it does a really good job of stitching things seamlessly together. One of the other really nice things about this camera is you can export your video in a variety of aspect ratios. The first one we're going to work with is vertical. So I'm going to cruise down to ratio. I'm going to find the 9:16 aspect ratio. This is perfect for Instagram stories, Reels, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube stories. One of my new favorite features is the YouTube Shorts. So this video will definitely be posted on a YouTube short. First thing I'm going to do, now that I have the aspect ratio correct, is I'm going to trim the clip. As I mentioned, I start and stop after I've landed a trick, so I know that my clip is at the very end. So we're just going to scroll along. Now we're going to do some reverse engineering and wait till I see me rolling. There I am. And let's get the takeoff. We're going to press trim, press the scissor, move this along. We're going to rotate to make sure I caught the landing. I go off the curb and check mark. Now the clip is a little bit shorter. I am going to export 3 different versions of this trick. The first one is going to be at the 100 frames per second so that I get the slowest export so I get the slowest export at the highest quality. For starters, I'm going to show you a little bit about keyframing. It's really simple. You just drag your finger until you get it where you want it. If I drag it too low, I am going to get some of the tripod that wasn't stitched out, so I'm going to move that so I can't see it. And I like how I have the bricks kind of arcing over the horizon level here. Now that I have the first spot I want, I'm going to press this little plus button. That's going to lock that keyframe so that this angle will stay in this position. Then I'm going to scroll until I am just about to pop. Bing. And here I'm going to press the plus button again. I haven't done actually any dynamic changes yet. Now I will. Now I'm going to move it, and right as I'm about to go out of frame, I'm going to stop. I'm going to put myself back in frame, and I'm going to press the plus button. I'm going to go a little bit more, down a hair, press it again. So I've really only made 3, maybe 4 different keyframe adjustments. Let's see how it looks. You just tap the screen when you're ready. Pop. Keep me in frame. I don't like that last one. Pop. It kind of loses me here, so I'm going to make that adjustment. All I did there is I created a new keyframe, made the adjustment, and pressed update keyframe. Press play. Boom. That's it. That's exactly how I want to see that clip. Now, I press this little export button. I'm going to export the reframed video. Here we wait. Done. 1 down, 2 to go. The second clip I'm going to work on now is the same thing, just in regular motion. To do that, I go to speed, go to the beginning, I press 4 times because this is recorded at 100 frames per second. The playback will now be at 25 frames per second. And you just scroll along, you see you got that red line now. That means that that specific part of the clip will be sped up. Press the check mark and the check mark again. Press play, make sure it looks all right. And now let's play it back with sound. Oh, maybe not. There is sound, trust me. It looks great. And then I would export that. The final export I am going to get is really going to be intended for long form videos, something I might post to YouTube, or if it's going to be used for a video part. What I'm going to do is change the aspect ratio and just a little bit of reframing. So now I'm just going to scroll along. Update keyframe. Update keyframe. Update keyframe. I'm going to need to throw in a final. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, we can. Right there. And let's watch it back. Ugh, that did not do something. Get rid of this. Let's watch that again. Perfect. Now I'm going to export this. I can keep this one on deck in case I want to use it for a video part. And that's pretty much it. From here, I'm going to take these 3 clips and throw them into Final Cut Pro. And I'll use a combination of the very slow clip with the regular speed clip with sound. I'll do a little speed ramping and I will post it up. That's about all I have for today. I hope that that was informative and gave you a little bit of insight on one of the many cool features about this fantastic camera. I am planning on doing more videos about how I use this camera. If you have a specific trick you want to learn more about it, please comment below and I will do my best to throw together a fancy little video for you. Thanks for watching. Make sure to wear a mask, wash your hands, take care of those around you, and do it for those who can't. Later, alligator.